helmet is not a weapon, it's a protection.
And you hit that person with the top of your head, your spine will break.
The impact causes a violent shaking of the brain inside the skull.
It is like two cars coming together, head-on-head collision.
The brain is spun, it's torqued, it's rotated so that nerve cells and their fibers are stretched and torn.
Nothing good can happen from it, put it that way.
I think when you're young, if you have improper technique and you get your head caught down or to the side the wrong way, you have a very good chance of hurting yourself, hurting your neck, or getting a concussion.
Youngsters are more susceptible to injury. They recover more slowly, and forces that would not cause injury in an adult with a well-developed neck do cause injury in a youngster. They're clearly more vulnerable.
I could barely breathe. All I could do was blink. That's the only movement I had.
I was always the first one at the game, one of the first people at the game, because I wanted to get the best seat to see him come out.
I just saw black and then I just fell and couldn't feel anything.
You want to hug him and make everything better, and I couldn't touch him.
Because I was crying on the field, because I just didn't know what was going on. But then it was kind of hard to breathe and stuff, so it was kind of hard to cry. So I just stopped crying. But they were you have a really serious break in your neck and everything. And I was just I was in shock. I never thought that would happen, but.
Think about it, kids are putting on pads and tackling as young as 7 years old. Those are babies.
What's at stake here is my son's life and the life of his family.
Horrible stuff happens when safety goes out the window when it comes to tackling.
Having organized groups that can teach the proper way to tackle to minimize the use of the head, that's a key thing.
Most spinal cord injuries in football occur in the act of tackling and tackling improperly.
Right now, we need to make effective steps that make the game as safe as possible so that we can enjoy it, because it is America's game.
I'm not saying I would have gotten hurt or not. I'm just saying that if a lot of kids knew the proper way to tackle, then that would help prevent a lot more injuries.
You've got these parents that are putting these players in your hands, their lives in your hands, their safety in your hands. They're relying on you to keep them safe.
I love football. I love the sport. I love what it does for kids. I love what it does for my child. But I want them to continue to play. And play safely, play correctly, and have fun at the end, and everyone walk off that field.
There's this fellow in California named Bobby Hosea who has all but given his life to teaching kids how to tackle more safely so that football can continue in much the same way it always has, with kids getting hurt less often by keeping their head up and out of the tackle.
See, I ain't never hit nobody with my head. I ain't putting my head in there. That's what you should teach your kid. Watch the head. Keep that head up. That's what you teach him. Behind you, beside you, in front of you, be better than them. Make them work. Full speed, check.
The game is a great game, but we got to fix it.
It's so important at this level to teach how to properly tackle because they're just starting out. So if you teach them from the get-go, from the start, how to properly tackle, they don't know the wrong way to tackle. They just know the right way to tackle, the correct way to tackle, the safe way to tackle.
So don't be ginger, run full speed, don't slow down. Coming under control and slowing down are not the same thing.
Football, it builds character, it challenges you. You get knocked on your back, you got to get back up. Isn't that what life does to us?
Whether it's Bobby Hosea's high-intensity tackle training system or anybody else doing that same thing with the same goal in mind to keep kids safe, it has to be mandatory. If it's not going to be mandatory, then at some point injuries are going to get worse, kids are going to die.
So every time you go into a pile with your head down, you're really playing Russian roulette with your life, with your health, with your well-being. Every time.
I learned to keep my head up and to rip and not wrap.
Not to use my head in the tackle.
He teaches how to tackle and dip and rip.
Other kids should come to this camp because you can tackle correctly so you won't get a brain injury in football.
Keep your head up so you don't break your neck.
I work at a high school, so I watch the high school kids, and I kind of ask them, like, how do you tackle? And they still think, you know, it's like head first.
Where'd the head go? Did it go to the side?
No.
Did it go down?
No.
Where do we want the head to go every single time?
Wrap up, wrap up, wrap up, wrap up. This game is not about destruction. This game is about building character, physical fitness, toughness, intestinal fortitude, all those things.
Take it for a ride now. Go for a ride. Get the air.
The football players are made. They're not born. This is an acquired skill. This is an acquired knowledge. The hips control the head, but the arms accelerate the hips. And so when the hips accelerate, the head will accelerate. It'll come up and away from the ball carrier. And once they learn that, now there's no longer any fear. But nobody needs a bulging disc in the back of the neck. Nobody needs slurred speech because they've been hit in the head so many times. And nobody needs to be in wheelchairs because they played football incorrectly. Now they're paralyzed for the rest of their life.
Just saying keep your head up isn't enough. There's a distinct difference between telling a player keep your head up versus going through a comprehensive tackle program that will instill muscle memory. They need to go to mandatory tackle camps so when it comes game time, when it comes crunch time, they don't need to think about, oh, I need to keep my head up. They just do it.
It's time for the adult community to step up and make games safe.
The NFL and the NCAAs need to work with the youth level organizations to teach their future, the future of the NFL, the future of the NCAA, to tackle properly and to be safe.
It's not about anything but keeping these kids safe and making sure that when they're older that they look back on this and this was a positive experience and that they're healthy and they feel good and they love football.
Instructing players to just keep their head up is no longer enough. And coming soon, my helmet-free tackle safety and performance training course to educate parents, players, and coaches on how to play safe, effective tackle football and reduce the risk of concussions, neck, and spinal cord injuries. To save our game, one player at a time.